Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the exact roadmap you need to transition your cash from, stagnant savings into an active wealth-building machine. Picture this, okay? You finally do the responsible thing. You start saving money every single month, moving a little bit into your savings account. And you feel good about it. You feel responsible, disciplined, financially mature. But then you look a little closer at what that money is actually doing.
Imagine you do the responsible thing and put $10,000 into a savings account, only to realize that at a typical 0.5% interest rate, you've earned a mere $50 after an entire year? $50! Meanwhile, inflation has just eaten right through it. So you keep hearing all this buzz about compounding and equities, and you've got to wonder, are you doing this whole money thing wrong? Well, you aren't wrong to save for sure, but saving alone just isn't going to build you wealth.
To fix this, we're going to walk through a structured roadmap today. We'll hit 4 main points. First, the problem with only saving. Second, the math of compound growth. Third, how to overcome the psychology trap. And fourth, a concrete 5-step investing path. Let's get right into it.
All right, Section 1, the problem with only saving.
Let's dive in and address a really hard truth here. Saving money alone will almost never make you wealthy. Seriously, savings and investments just have 2 radically different jobs. Your savings act like a shield, right? They protect your money from life's unexpected blows. But your investments, they are the engine. If you only ever use the shield, you are completely missing out on the engine that actually drives you forward.
Which brings us to Section 2, the math of compound growth.
The difference between saving and investing might look kind of negligible in year 1, but over 20 years, the math is absolutely staggering. Consider the massive gap here. $10,000 sitting in a slightly better 1% savings account barely limps to $12,200. But if you invested that same money at a historical 10% market average, you're looking at roughly $67,000. Literally the exact same starting money, but a completely different outcome depending on where you put it. The ultimate wealth gap really isn't between savers and spenders. It's between savers and investors.
Okay, moving to Section 3, overcoming the psychology trap.
So if the math is so beautifully clear, why on earth do we hesitate? Well, it all boils down to human psychology. A savings account doesn't randomly plunge 5% on a Tuesday afternoon, right? When cash sits in savings, you can pull up your app, see exactly what's there, and it's just this flat, comforting line. But investments move. They bounce around. And that emotional roller coaster really terrifies people who are hardwired to fear losing what they've worked so hard to earn.
To beat this psychological trap, you basically have to mentally separate your cash into 2 distinct buckets. Bucket 1 is your safety money. It doesn't move, and honestly, its only job is to let you sleep soundly at night. Bucket 2 is your growth money. Because its job is to compound over decades, you've absolutely got to give it permission to fluctuate. Expecting growth without volatility is, well, it's kind of like expecting to get a great workout without breaking a sweat. It just doesn't happen.
Think of it this way. Saving money is exactly like storing seeds in a glass jar. You are protecting them perfectly, sure, but absolutely nothing is going to grow in there. Investing is taking those seeds and throwing them out into the dirt. It looks messy at first, but it's literally the only physical way to grow a harvest that's far bigger than what you originally started with.
Let's tackle Section 4, the 5-step investing path. So, how do we actually safely move our money from the jar into the soil? Well, here is the actionable 5-step path. Number 1, build an emergency fund. 2, separate your cash mentally. 3, start small. 4, make simple choices. And 5, stay disciplined.
Let's break those down. Step 1 is your defensive moat, the cash buffer. Before you invest a single dollar, you need 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting safely in cash. Why? Because the absolute quickest way to ruin compound growth is being forced to panic sell your investments to cover a sudden car repair or medical emergency. Your emergency fund's real job is to protect your investments from your own life. Now, since we already tackled mental separation in Step 2, let's jump right to Step 3, starting small. There is a huge misconception out there that you need a fortune to start investing. You really don't. You just need $50 and a calendar. The goal right now isn't to make massive profits. It's about building the muscle memory of investing. Consistency and habit will beat market timing every single time. Step 4, avoid the noise. Forget complicated crypto, day trading, or trying to pick the next big winning stock.
Rely instead on boring, highly effective index funds. They basically buy you a tiny slice of hundreds of companies all at once, giving you instant diversification. It's the exact strategy legendary investor Warren Buffett heavily recommends for basically 99% of people. Simple investments almost always crush the complicated ones over time.
And you really have to think about the sheer disparity in these numbers. If you quietly invest just $300 a month for 25 years at an 8% average return, just look at that final balance. Out of roughly $285,000, you only actually put in $90,000. That massive block of growth, that is nearly 200 grand of pure compounded growth just working tirelessly for you while you sleep.
Step 5 is where that psychology piece returns, staying disciplined. People always ask, but what if the market crashes? Well, look at it this way. Market downturns are really just a discount sale for your portfolio. If you invest a set amount every month, a market drop simply means your cash is automatically buying more shares at a steep discount. When the market inevitably recovers, those cheap shares absolutely fuel your returns. Experienced investors stay calm because they know exactly how this works.
Ultimately, mastering this whole transition comes down to one fundamental truth. Saving money gives you rock-solid stability, but investing money buys your future freedom. You absolutely need the jar to protect your initial seeds, but you desperately need the soil to grow the actual harvest. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on as you look at your own finances today. Are you still just stockpiling seeds in a glass jar, or have you finally started planting them in the soil? The best time to make the transition was yesterday. The second best time is today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and we'll catch you next time as we continue unpacking the roadmap to financial freedom.